Hey, rock stars, Kinsey here. It is BOGO Day 2, right? I don't know what day of the week it is, but I know it's BOGO Day 2. Just kidding, it's Tuesday. I hope you're having a rockin' BOGO. A couple of things to mention really quick about BOGOs. The BOGO box was opened up again so you could get two. So if you didn't grab a second BOGO box and you want one, do it. Um, they did leak one of the oils. I don't know if anybody saw that, but it's called Clear X. Clear X, right? I have a bottle of it from Malaysia as Clarify, and it's incredible. So if you don't have this oil, don't miss the BOGO. Everybody needs this oil. I actually prefer it over just the Breathe in my little guys' rooms when they're not feeling good. You know, when you just need that really good, I need to breathe all night long moment. Don't miss your opportunity for that. Um, and then we'll have BOGOs 3 more days this week. So be on the lookout. We'll be posting them in the groups. Tonight specifically, I wanted to talk about text messaging. So you've probably noticed in the last, I don't know, month or two, social media algorithms have really changed a lot. And for probably the first time as a collaborative whole, users are frustrated, right? We're tired of seeing repetitive ad information. A lot of people are having a hard time with how much election sway seems to show up in their news feed. And people are kind of turning away or looking at different options or new platforms. And so one thing that a few people have already moved over to is just simply a texting app. So one thing that we've talked about quite a bit is when you build a brand on social media, you don't own that brand. The platform does. That's who's in charge of the list. That's who's in charge of who sees what. It's not yours, right? It's like you're renting a space there. So one thing you want to do is have an email list and have as much people's contact information as you can. And so emails, obviously, we know are opened 3% or less, right? That's not a very good stat. Most of the doTERRA emails that I send out for leaders are right around 15 to 18%. That's not very high. And so people have kind of turned into more of a how do we connect one-on-one with people, and that's done via text. So I want to show you guys a couple of tricks that I've learned along the way, and then talk about a couple platforms or different options if you have a larger organization or you're ready to text multiple people at a time. So the first thing that you kind of want to think about is who are you texting, right? When we think about building a business and using a texting platform or just your phone, I would break it up into different options. Just like social media, when you talk to everyone, you talk to no one. And you can't send the same text to your customer who has ordered faithfully for 10 years as the customer who signed up and never did anything, right? That wouldn't flow. Your relationship's in a different place. And so when you think of how you're going to organize this list, I suggest starting with picking a few categories or tags. I call them tags. That's what most platforms call it. But what would you tag them with? So here's a couple options for tags. Personal enrollments, um, local team, um, certain legs, like maybe your silver leg that you're a little weak on that you're always working on. Just however customers, prospects, um, people you sampled. Think of like how to categorize them because you want to organize your text messages accordingly. Because even though we might be sending out the same thing, we're going to say it differently, like I was just saying, to the prospects than we would, people who you've sampled even. So think about that. And so you have your lists. And then one thing, if you have an iPhone or an Android even, there's a notes app, right? You can take notes. One thing that I really highly recommend you do is type out. I'm way faster typer on a keyboard, obviously, than a phone. If I type out what I want to say, how can you get your message across in the shortest way possible with asking for a response? We're text messaging someone. So when you text someone, that's inviting them to have a conversation with you. And that's important to know, because if you're going to take, let's say you have a team of 100 and put all of their contact information in an app and text 100 people at one time and think you're automating something, you definitely are. You definitely can schedule the message at a certain time to go. But y'all, you're opening 100 conversations, right? So you need to send those out when you're prepared to have those conversations. Okay, so you have your tags. Let's just start with real basic. Let's say you just got started with doTERRA, or you don't have a whole bunch of people yet that you need to text. Maybe you have, let's say, 20 people or less. I would recommend not paying for a third-party service and just using your own phone to manage them. And there's a couple of tricks that I've learned along the way to speed up this process. So one is write out what you want to say in your notes, and then you're just going to copy and paste that to your different contacts. On an iPhone, you can have different contact lists, so that makes it a little bit quicker when you go to send out these messages. But my favorite thing, and if you have an iPhone, grab it real quick. I want to show you this. One of my favorite things to do is, let's say you have a team call that you run every week, or a live that you want to remind people about, and you're spending a lot of time reminding people. If you go into your settings, and I know you can do this on an Android too, I'll just have to look up the steps. But on an iPhone, if you go into your settings and then scroll all the way down to, hold on, to messages. No, that's not a, you're gonna scroll to general, sorry. So you're going to settings, general, and then keyboard. And then there's the thing that says text replacement. Do you guys see that? So you're going on an iPhone, settings, general, keyboard, click on keyboard, and then text replacement. Do you see that? This is something that you can set up, really quick thing. So hit the plus sign in the top right-hand corner, and the phrase is the message that you want to always send. So here's like I just said, the example of a call, like you want to remind people. Well, it's the same link every week, right? Or the same place you're sending them. So you're going to write your message here, and then under shortcuts, you just are going to create a little phrase or a couple of words or even a couple of letters that will trigger that. So you'll notice there's a default one in there if you've never done this, and that's OMW, which stands for on my way. So when you type that into text, it auto-populates. So I have client calls every day, and so I have one that's set up, and it's ZL. And as soon as I type in ZL, it says, hey, hope you're having a good day. I'm excited to talk to you soon. Here's the link for our call today. And it auto-populates that, so I'm not spending time doing that every time. So think of this, I mean, even for an individual basis for enrollments, right? How often are you texting someone the process of how to enroll? Or how often are you texting someone kit options? Think of how you can use this little shortcut to make your messages happen a little bit quicker. And that will just help you be able to send your messages quicker. And if you have an iPad or a Mac computer, the same thing happens. It's saved in all those places, so that it makes it really convenient. You can do it in an email, just your short, I call them dittos. You type it out and it just dittos it out for you. So that's a little tip for you if you've never experienced that. Does anyone have any questions about that?
Can you do it for an Android too, please?
I'm sure that we can. I don't have an Android, so I don't have those steps. Does anyone have an Android on here that, Tracy, do you know how to set that up?
Well, I'm going to go try it right now, okay? And let me work on it and I'll get back to you, okay?
Okay, cool. I'm sure it's the same. I'm sure it's the same thing. You're just going into your keyboard and then, you know, saving those presets. But I love it. That's something that I do that I find it's a lot easier for me. Another thing, like texting etiquette, right? You got to remember who you're texting and where they live and what time they live and if they have kids or if they don't, because all these things matter when you're texting someone. If you live in New York City and you're texting someone in Hawaii, just know that they don't want to hear from you when it's 2 o'clock in the morning for them. You know what I mean? So it's like emails you can blast out whenever. If you're going to be scheduling text messages, you got to do so appropriately. I highly recommend having a text time every day that you sit and write your texts and send them out. Just like you do your gratitude list, just like you do you know how we say, oh, I'm going to work on my business and get on social media. And then you go down that wormhole. Before you do that, do your texting, because you're starting those conversations with people in real life, right? Sometimes, and I was just talking about this, we need to initiate, and I'm convinced that we're the people to do it, you guys. A thumbs up challenge, right? If you talk to any kid today, like, what's a thumbs up? What are they going to say? Oh, it's a like on social media. No, a thumbs up. Like, hey, I see you in real life. Like, you're rocking life. Where did thumbs up come from? And I think that we need to bring back what we're doing online into the real world a little bit. And one way we're doing that, sadly almost, is through texting people, going back to text messages versus just posting things on Facebook. I just got tomorrow's BOGO. Do you guys want to know what it is? Yeah or no? You do? Okay. It's called You're in the Clear, and it's buy a Copaiba 15 mil and get the Air X free. So that's a good one. You guys are gonna love that. Definitely stock up. So $35 and you get both of the oils. Did not get that from me. Oh guys, that's the noise of all things we need to know. It's already updated. Somebody said something else. Oh, they just bolded it. Not that big a deal. Okay, so what was I saying? Oh, we're kind of going back to texting, like actually talking to someone, right? Rather than just posting things to the whole world to read, we're actually communicating with someone on the other end. We're asking someone to speak back to us. So let's talk about a few options you might have seen as of late. So there's a new service that doTERRA people just launched, 5 leaders. Michelle Cannon's one of them, called Essential Connection Co., I think. Something like this. You can check it out. I think it's essentialconnection.co is our website. But they offer basically a platform where they use a third-party app called Project Broadcast. And I want to talk a lot more about that tonight. But when you purchase their little system, it's kind of like OneDrop. You get templates from them and graphics, and then you put that into the Project Broadcast app and send that out. So I have a few clients that do that. If you're looking into that option, I think it's like $25 a month for the actual content and then $10 a month to run the app, but you can buy more credits. That gives you 500 texts. Dana, you got some, girl. What is it?
No, I just started using that this week.
Oh yeah, cool. So
So-
I've been playing with that for a little while with some clients, and I really like it.
I do
to be
too.
honest with you, it's been a fun way to open communication. So let's talk about that. If you're texting multiple people, like let's say you have a BOGO list, right, or a team that you want to make sure, how do we get all this information to them? You might be ready for a text service app. So let's first talk about Project Broadcast. Project Broadcast is an app that you can download, and you can buy text message credits. They give you a phone number that you can text from. It's not associated with Essential Co., but they work with each other. Like you download the content, you put it into the app, and then you can send it. Or you could just upload your own. You could write your own text messages and send them out to whoever. So if you're going to use a text messaging service, a couple of things to know is it's almost just like an email address. You cannot spam people. You can't just put a bunch of people in and start shooting off messages, because you'll get flagged just like that. Just like you would if you were sending out, massive emails to people. You have to make sure that you're not coming across as spammy. It's genuine, it's individualized. There's not too many sales words. Just like there's filters in email, the carriers of cell phone companies actually use a similar filtration system with text messages. So you could be marked as spam before you even send your message. by carriers just because of what you wrote in your content. So most companies who offer a text messaging service have a grading system. You need to make sure to stay or check your ratings of your texts. And they'll tell you if you're in the red or good or what you could improve or add a link or don't add a link or you use too many of these words. And that's beneficial. It's really important that you indoctrinate yourself. Anytime you're going to start an email campaign, a text campaign, you need to tell people who you are. And I call that the indoctrination series, right? Who you are, why you're texting them. You have to make a connection. I really like, isn't it called Essential Co? What is it called? I want to make sure I'm not saying that wrong.
Essential Connection Co.
It's Essential Connection Co. They've done a really good job if you decide to go with their service at offering templates. Like one of them is for your personal enrollments. One of them is for non-personal enrollments. One of them is for prospects. So as soon as you put people into the system, any text messaging service you use will give you an alternative phone number to your own. You cannot use your own. So you'll have to say, hey, this is Kenzie. This is my new business number. You can text me here. I'll be sending you blah, 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 blah. So they know what's coming. And even if you're not going to use a texting service, but you're going to enroll someone right away, you got to like put a mental check mark, like as a check-in. And let me just give you an example of this. Just yesterday, I met with a new massage therapist last night. I had the most amazing Lomi Lomi massage. If you've never had a Hawaiian style massage, I highly recommend it. But I went and she sent me a text before. Thank you for booking and the address. Cool. I showed up. I met her. I had the massage. I loved it. I left. Well, tonight she texts me. And just as an example for you, it says, okay, Kenzie, it's been almost 24 hours. Well, almost. I'm just checking in. How are you feeling? Did things move for you? Are you sore anywhere? Make sure you keep well hydrated and you can use heat on any achy spots tonight. Thank you so much for the privilege of working with you. Like, whoa, like just such a personal touch, right? So how can you incorporate that into doTERRA land? So when you meet with someone for samples, when you meet for someone and introduce them to oils, when you meet on a one-on-one, if you have a new enrollment, if someone contacts you to place an order, right? Like they haven't ordered for a while and you have a follow-up text about that, that could really go a long way. Like, okay, Iris, it's been 4 days since you got your oils. How's it going? Did you take the lids off? How are you feeling? And just make it really personal to why they contacted you, because it's just one of the quickest ways we have. You know, text messages are read. Everyone reads a text message, right? Even if they're going to delete it or not like it, text messaging is personal. People are going to take the time to read that. So you really have a one-on-one captured audience. So you need to make sure to keep it really personable and really to the point. So your indoctrination campaign is probably a little bit more than just the BOGOs. Once they're in your system, they know who you are. You don't need to make them so long. A text message is short. It's meant to be read quickly. And don't feel like you always have to open a conversation. Like this week, for example, you're sending a text a day on a sale. It's okay for that to be really short and not this over lengthy thing, because we want people to just check it and like it and move on with their day. Occasionally send that longer, requesting a follow-up type. Think of it like when you go to a local store or even a bigger store and they have a text opt-in thing. Like even on my car, on my Toyota, I get a text message. Thank you, we've received your payment. Do you know what I mean? Like, okay, cool. And you could make some of your text that simple. Like, hey, I saw that you placed an order. Just wanted to say thanks for being a loyal customer. I hope you enjoy it. Just touch base. Let them know that they're being seen. And let people know you'll be messaging them, because some people are funny about it, right? And some of you who have a texting service already probably know some people will fire back and be like, who gave you my number? This is confidential. So you got to be careful about letting people know, like, hey, I'm your helper. I'm going to be I'm your personal shopper, if you will. Another thing to note, when you sign up for like Project Broadcast, again, it's like, I think it's like $10 for 500 text messages, something like this. It's pretty inexpensive. But if you put 100 people in there and then you send them a BOGO a day, by the end of 5 days, you've used your 500 credits. Do you know what I mean? So pay attention to that. Make sure that you're using them, however you wish. It's always best to start with your personal enrollments. If you'll message your personal enrollments and teach people to connect with their personal enrollments, your team will have a really tight-knit feeling and community, and people will know who to rely on and who to connect with. Because sometimes it's like, well, who are you, right? Like if they're too high up or too far removed from you, they're not going to know who you are. So it could feel like, I didn't even buy oils from you. Why are you messaging me? So start with your personal enrollments and work from there. And again, keep your list really clean so you can use this tool to benefit multiple things. So when you have a text messaging service, you can have a template. Like this week, it's a BOGO template, right? We don't know BOGOs until right now. So now we can get to work on preparing our template for tomorrow. But sometimes you could have a series of diffuser blends or nighttime remedies or women's health, whatever it is for you. Maybe you have the continuing education classes that you do. You could go in and create a whole campaign. Like let's use the continuing ed classes, for example. If you teach those or promote those within your organization, you could set up a text message to go out to everyone who signs up to participate in that course, maybe 30 minutes before the class starts, right? So then they're getting on your overall views goes up because you're communicating with people and they know where to go. People just like that quick reminder. Even like your leaders, think some of you who have larger teams, how can I use this for my leaders? Okay, well, we could send out a text message on the 27th of every month to remind people to check their numbers, right? Or maybe you have a something that you do where you give something away to, whoever, you could set that up to automate. So it's happening automatically for you. I'm going to pause and open it up to questions. Who has questions about anything to do with text messages? Maybe even if we haven't talked about it yet, that's okay. Bring it up and we'll discuss it. Who's texting? Is anyone on here at this point texting out to their peeps? Tracy is, Chrissy is, Tina is. How's the response? Are people talking back to you? Lindsay is. No, you're not getting a response. People you know, people you don't know, people who order, people who don't. All the above. You're texting from your personal phone number or do you have an app? Personal phone number, personal phone number. Good. I think that it's important too to make sure that we're working. I mean, if you haven't indoctrinated yourself yet, I would start there. Make sure that you're having the conversations. I have used an app, have no response. What app are you using, Shannon? Don't text and drive. Unmute and talk. I get responses from text is much better than Facebook. Absolutely. I think that even sometimes pointing people back to Facebook is okay, but just letting people know. And again, it's about the relationship. So,
the Hit 'em Up app is what I use.
oh, you use the Hit 'em Up app?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you have a phone
Right.
number through them.
I guess. I don't know. I use it. I probably do.
Mm-hmm.
I probably do. And I probably didn't do very good etiquette because I was trying to do it really fast because I didn't get everything done yesterday. I wanted to earlier in the day.
Story of my
So
life.
I probably put more information. I probably vomited all over them in a text message.
Well, we do that, right? But you have to remember, like, you're just opening that conversation. They sometimes like Snapchat as well. Yeah, Snapchat's a good place. I mean, Snapchat's a little bit more fun than, you know, it's hard to go back and remember and what did you say and it's not there and oh my gosh, I have no idea how I even know this person anymore moment, but it can be a little tricky. Well, good. Well, I would start with that. So let's talk about the basics of that, right? So I would set up, if you're new to text messaging or thinking about texting your team, start with that. How do you introduce yourself via text? It should be the same thing every time. How do you let people know how to enroll via text? It should be the same thing every time. And just save those. I really like to use the notes. Would a text app be like an autofill service? What do you mean by autofill?
Well, I'm not sure. I was just looking at the options on in my settings. So,
Oh, yeah, you're saying the text. So we're talking texting app like a third party app. You're talking about the keyboard where the shortcut, right?
yeah.
Yeah, that would be like a autofill, right? So you type in a code or a secret key and then everything else auto populates for you.
Yeah, so that's what I was trying to see. And so I think I'd have to add a service.
Oh, really? I would think that Android had that like Apple, but maybe they don't.
I know that I might have to ask Mark. Okay, go on. Sorry.
Yeah, no, that's a really good way to do it because it makes it just really quick. Think about scheduling appointments. I mean, anything that you do that you could have a touch before, this could count as the touch. Your classes, you schedule a class. Thank you for signing up for my class. I'm excited to see you. Here's the address. Could you bring, when people are in charge of bringing something to something, they show up. You know what I mean? Could you bring whatever it is? And then getting their number. I mean, sometimes we don't even ask for their number. We get the email thing, right? I would stop doing that. Get their phone number because that's going to help you more than anything. Just like the massage therapist that I saw yesterday, that touch the next day. Okay, Tracy, it's been almost 24 hours since our class. I know that you were going to go home and do some research or look over or decide or whatever. But just that took her 30 seconds or less. You know, she probably has the same message she sends to everyone. She just plugged my name in. So if you had that already prepared, that would greatly help you speed up your business and follow up, because sometimes we sit at home and we say, well, my phone's not ringing. Why isn't anyone calling? I gave them my phone number, right? Or I gave them the link. Think about it this way. Like if you printed something and gave it to them, like go ahead and just go to this link. Well, now they have a paper and they have to keep track of this paper and they got to take it home and they got to put it on a counter. And then they have to look at the URL and they have to type the URL into the computer and then they can shop. Do you see how many steps that is? That's crazy. But if you'd send them a text with the link, they're already on their phone. Everyone has to go potty at some point during the day, and we all look at our phones, okay? Guilty as charged. Give them something to look at. Questions? Another little tip for you as far as texting on your, again, I'm going to refer to an iPhone because that's what I have. But when you have like really good graphics of kits or product or sometimes even like when you're going for rank or like BOGO week or whatever, save your photos in your phone and then put them into your favorites. So they're a lot faster for you to find and you're not always, just keep what's in your favorites like up to date. So you'd have, you know, your 3 favorite kits and then the BOGO of the day. And so it's just a lot quicker for you to throw out there. I challenge you guys, if you're not already texting, I would text a customer a day, a loyal customer, someone on LRP, someone who faithfully orders. It could be a gratitude text. It could be a product education text. It could be, you know, just the BOGO of the day. It could be just a, hey, how's it going? Are you surviving COVID world? and I challenge you to do a customer a day, a loyal customer. I challenge you to text someone who showed interest and signed up but disappeared. And I challenge you to text a prospect every day and a family member. Okay. How many of us in this business enroll family members at some point, right? It's because that's who we know and that's who we talk to. So you have to bring up the conversations. If you're going to go to Thanksgiving dinner, maybe not this year, but let's say Christmas, let's be hopeful that maybe we can do something at Christmas as far as a gathering. If you're going to show up at Christmas with the hopes to promote your doTERRA business, right now is a good time to text Aunt Susie and just say, hey, how's it going? What's going on with you? How can I help you? Are you interested? Did you notice what I did? Open the conversation so when you see her, it's not like, hey, it's a holiday and so I'm going to try to sell you something, because we do that sometimes. All text messaging apps use another number, right? If you're going to send out a mass text. So you could use your phone, but I highly do not recommend texting more than one person at a time. Don't group message 20 people and send out a text, because that nobody wants to be part of that spam tree. Just don't do it. So text people individually from your phone, or if you have a texting service like Project Broadcast, they'll give you a number and then you'll just let people know, hey, this is my business number. And then you could text however many people were on your list at the same time, but it would go as an individual text. Something I like about Project Broadcast is you can do it on the computer. You just go to projectbroadcast.com. And so again, I'm a lot faster on a computer than I am the phone. It's nice to have the phone with you in the app so you can check it throughout the day as you go and manage it. But as far as like uploading contacts and getting your templates ready and your campaigns ready, that's a lot easier to do on the internet, on the computer. So I would check that out. Again, Project Broadcast is a good one that I've been playing with as of late. I've tested several of them. You'll have to let me know, Shannon, how you like the one that you're using. I've never used it.
Ken's,
Yeah.
have you heard of Loom?
Uh-huh.
So, and that's a way to leave, I guess, I don't know if you can do that as a mass thing or not. But that's a way to leave a voice message.
Yeah. 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 And you can
Case
do that
people
with
don't know.
Project Broadcast too. I think you just want to be careful, right? People are busy. People don't want to. I mean, I don't know about y'all, but I get so many spam calls. It's unreal. I mean, it really is. Even now on our phones, it says potential spam. That's because they've just done it too many people. But I struggle when I pick up my phone and I hear a recording. I'm like, nope, not for me. So you have to be careful with it, because if it's someone that if you know them and they know it's coming and they know, but people are, I mean, guys, we live in a world where if you said it right now, it's already too late. Do you know what I mean? I mean, thankfully, we have a couple things to be thankful for this year to help us just kind of slow down, but it's wild how fast people like to process information. What other questions do you guys have? Questions, comments, concerns, hopes, dreams, fears. We can talk about anything. It can be about texting. It can be about BOGOs. It can be about your team.
So I use the Hit 'em Up app. I didn't know about this one. I might look into it or get more information. I've had it for a while. I did the free trial and then that ran out. But like it takes a lot to put all your information in there.
Yeah. Yeah.
So like I had on my contacts list and I had them, you can do like the groups and all that kind of stuff. Like I did. And then I just did it last night. It was like $19.99 or something. And I don't know how long that is.
How many credits that is?
How many credits
it's like
that is.
tax credits usually.
And so I sent out 2 different ones. I did one to like, I have my contacts or my prospects, and I did my team.
Yeah.
And so then I sent 2 different ones, but on the prospects obviously I had a link to the BOGO box.
Oh, nice. Yeah, smart.
And then the one that, I was like, don't miss out. I had 2 graphics, the day of, like this the single one, and then like the BOGO set or the BOGO box.
Yeah.
And then I had a link to buy the BOGO box.
Yeah.
And I just said, hey, if you want the whole shebang, click on this.
Yeah. I think that's good.
But
Yeah, so you'll have to see how many credits you get with that, but
Yeah.
but that's the only thing I'd recommend is letting people know. So this is a little bit tricky too. If you're going to get an app, one thing you have to do is load your people, and that can be a manual process, or you can go to your back office, go to your detailed genealogy, and then just put in the categories you need, which would be the person's name and phone number. And in doTERRA land, there's 3 phone numbers, right? There's cell phone, work phone, home phone. I click all 3, and then I copy all of that information onto an Excel sheet, and then I organize it by first name, last name, phone number. And then it's a little tricky to kind of look at the phone numbers and decide. Most people have their phone number in one of the 3 spots. So I just move that number to the same column. And then you can upload that list. So that's a little bit quicker than doing it one at a time if you're putting in your team members. In detailed genealogy and under the mailing labels, if you download mailing labels, phone numbers are not included on that. So it's a copy and paste from the graphic, from the detailed genealogy. So it's a kind of a lengthy process, but it's worth it.
that's how I did my email list.
Yeah. And let people know, like, too, that they can opt in. Sometimes you don't want to put your phone number out on the internet, right? But on a texting service phone number, that's okay. Like you might have noticed that just this past year, maybe the last 6 months or so, big names, big public figures, celebrities are now saying, text me, right? It's not message or comment, or it's text me, because everyone's using another party or another service to help facilitate this. But people like the connection. The problem on social is once they're on the comment on social, I mean, they say if you want to bury someone, put them in yesterday's Facebook content, right? Because that conveyor belt just keeps going. And what you post today, there it goes, there it goes. And if you had them text you, well, now that's your contact, not just someone that you might remember from a post 6 months ago that you didn't follow up with. You plug their number in and add them to whatever you decide your texting campaigns would be. Questions?
You can schedule on project broadcasts, right?
Yeah, you can schedule on do you want me to show you? I could share my screen and give you a overview.
That would be awesome, because something you could do is you could put in all your team's birthdays.
Yeah.
So think just that little love note,
Right. Okay, I'll just show you. I'm logged into one of my clients' accounts so I can give you a drive around. Okay, so when you're in here, there's a couple of things that I'll show you. So the first thing is, let's look at the tags. So you can organize people. So you can see our tags here, our personal BOGOs, her blue legs she's working on, things like that. So these are the templates. So templates and campaigns are different. Think of a template like an email template. So for example, she does have the Essential Co program. So I'll just show you the welcome that we have in here. Actually, we personalized her. We didn't even use theirs. We made our own. So there's a picture of her and it says, hey, and then their first name, and then it's her first name. Just wanted to let you know that this is my new business number so you can add it to your contacts. I wanted to shoot you a quick text to say hello and connect. How are things going? I've got some awesome oily tips that I'll be sending your way, like my favorite protocols, diffuser blends, etc. But in the meantime, please let me know if there's anything you need. Also, here's an update. And we sent this out the day before that went out. So just you know what I mean? It's just very personable. She got a great response on this. And then let me show you the campaigns. So some of these are hers and some of them are from that Essential Co company. So let's just look at welcome to doTERRA. So it's a welcome to doTERRA, comes with 4 texts. So as soon as she enrolls someone, we trigger this campaign to go to them. Okay. So when you're in here, do you see how it's a little easier to navigate? I'm sure if you have seen the app, you'll see it's kind of tricky. So text 1, hello, welcome to our doTERRA family. I'm so excited to help you begin on your journey. I hope you are ready to dive in and learn all about our amazing products and what we have to offer. First of all, watch this incredible clip on why doTERRA. Guys, this is a game changer. That why doTERRA clip, if people will watch that, that's a huge indoctrination into doTERRA world. In this clip, I'll just show you the rest of it. In this clip, you'll see the inside the heart of doTERRA and why we're making an impact all over the world. Have you heard about our Healing Hands Foundation before? That's an easy yes or no response. And then these are spaced out. So you'll see this one goes out first, and you can change the times on these like you were just saying, Tracy. So this first one goes out at 1 p.m. And then the next one is in 2 days. So even if they respond, the next one will still go out in 2 days. And then the next one goes out, I think, in 3 days. So they're all kind of spaced. 3 ways to use your oil. So now they have their oils, right? And we start talking to them about what to do with them. I think sometimes people order, you guys, and they don't even, it comes in the mail, they open it, they're excited, but most people are busy and they don't have an hour or 2 or 3 to sit down and figure it all out. So to have just a text trigger them to go back to the box they opened, I think it's huge. So that's an idea. There's another campaign called Diffuser Blends, oil blends for every home, simple swaps meaning like home cleaning, beauty, laundry, first aid. We have the team call set up in here. This certain client of mine does a team call same time. And so this is a leader call. So she only has like 8 people that get this reminder, but it just goes every week at the same time. A new member funnel, and then that welcome that we just did. So yeah, you can totally schedule. I'll just show you really quick how you do it. You just click on schedule, you hit the plus, you type in whatever you want it to say. If you want to use one of your templates, it's really easy. You just click that right there, that little paper with the folded corner. You select your template. I'll just show you. It auto-populates for you. And then you decide who you're going to send it to. And this is why it's important to organize your contacts, because when you go to contacts, you already have them in here, but you just click on the tags and they're really easy to find that way. I mean, you could type it in if you were just sending it to one, but if you every week or every 2 weeks put in all your prospects, you could put them all in at the same time and send multiple messages at one time. And then you do the scheduled date and time, and you can pick, when you want it to fire out, and then you just hit save and it goes. And then you'll see, like she's got some messages to come in here and read. She's got 16 unread messages. So you can either do that right here on the computer or just on your app on your phone. Questions? That was a lot. I know that was a lot. But if you get something like Project Broadcast, you can go in and set up, I think, a free account and just start playing with it, and you'll see, oh, it's a lot easier than it looks right out the gate. When I first saw it, I was like, oh my gosh. But after, 30 minutes, I was like, this makes sense. I like it.
And what was the name of the
ProjectBroadcast.com, and then the thing that Michelle Cannon and a few leaders made is called EssentialConnection.co, and I'll show that to you real quick.
Yeah.
It looks like this. If you go to EssentialConnection.co, you'll see it here, and you can learn all about what they do. Know that, again, these guys use a third-party app called Project Broadcast you have to get when you use them. And then you download their templates into it. But they go over all of that. They have a really cool, tutorial and everything. And this is, if you like Tracy, you were speaking at the beginning of the call, who would be a good person to follow on Instagram or talk to us on Instagram? Well, Michelle Cannon's built her whole business on Instagram. And now she's using this text service to get people rolling. And when you join, you'll be put into a group, but there's so many testimonials of reactivations, and because they're texting people, you know, taking them from social to real life to enroll. And to be honest, I don't know about your guys' experience, but this was mine. I got the oils and I repeatedly text or called the person who shared them with me because I had no idea what to do. And I wanted to use the oils, but if I didn't have someone holding my hand, teaching me everything that I've learned, I never would have figured it out. I wouldn't have. I'm a crunchy mama, but I don't have the time to read and do, and I'm not into the research side of it. I just need someone to say, hey, your kid's sick, here's a natural option, try this. And then you do it, right? And then the next thing comes up, and then that person, it's the person who helped you. I think every one of us on this call has a person they've connected to that helps them know what oil to use. And it's not an app, it's not a book, it's not doTERRA, it's a person. So if you want to be helping people, you got to be their person. So you need to be available. I think it's much better to have a phone conversation, a text message conversation, than sit on your Facebook or your Instagram. Like, bring it to real life for people. Awesome. I'm going to stop the recording and then we can open it up and chat amongst all the things.